Baby Rancors? Bib Fortuna? Zyggerrian Slavers? This is my review for episode 5 of the Bad Batch. While the plot overall isn't moving very fast, there was still plenty to enjoy. The Bad Batch traveled to Ord Mantel to meet a shady trandoshan known as Sid, to gather intel on who is hunting Omega. Ord Mantell is of course infamous in the Star Wars universe for being a somewhat independent hub for all sorts of criminals and unsavory characters, so heading back there was pretty fun to watch. My favorite moments by far was learning that Moochi is actually a baby Rancor. The show did give some hints by having Bib Fortuna appear in a hologram talking to Sid, but the reveal was pretty hilarious. Now I know what you might be thinking. Hey, does this mean that the Bad Batch just saved the Rancor that Luke kills in Return of the Jedi? Now, as morbid as that might be, it's not actually the same Rancor. You see, Jabba's Rancor was actually called Pateesa, so it's pretty unlikely that they're the same creature. Also, the Rancor Luke kills is a male Rancor, whereas Moochi is actually a female, so it's entirely possible that maybe the Rancor we see in the Bad Batch is the mother of Pateesa. I've got to say, Bib Fortuna has a surprisingly friendly relationship with the Rancor. He didn't really strike me as much of an animal lover in the first place. We also finally get to see Omega pick up her choice of weapon, and as it turns out, it's not really a Night Sister bow, but a Zyggerrian weapon, so it's highly likely that we will get to see her use it in the next episode. There were a ton of Easter eggs in Sid's office. If you take your time and slow down the video, you'll find a clone helmet, a Phase 2 pilot helmet, a Mandalorian helmet, Jango's blasters, and Banta fur. Either way, there were plenty of Easter eggs in this week's episode to go around. The Zyggerrians also make some interesting references. They talk about a new beginning and returning to Kadavo now that the Republic is gone, which might suggest that slavery is back in business once again. I've got another video coming up about this, so stay tuned. The biggest issue that I have with the series so far is that we seem to be getting sidetracked more often than not. I do really hope that as the series goes, we really get to focus down on the plot, and while the side missions might be fun to watch, it does get a little tiring, or hey, maybe I'm just really impatient. I think we can all agree that Sid is pretty bad with secrets, at least where credits are involved. So in the next episode, we may see Fennec Shan hot on their heels once more. It's kind of unknown as to where the Bad Batch are going the next episode, but Sid does hint towards something when she mentions that they were going to need friends in credits. So it may be entirely possible that the Bad Batch meeting up with Rex is going to happen real soon. I also hope that we get to see a young Boba make an appearance. After all, he is still running around somewhere making a name for himself. Wrecker's chip and head seems to be acting up as well. It does seem like the pain is getting worse and worse ever since he got knocked on the head by Fennec Shan, and it seems that he is actively resisting the control of the inhibitor chip. So it's entirely possible that the Bad Batch will have to get their chips out soon, or Wrecker is gonna become like Crosshair. There's also a lot of talk about slavery in this episode, which I find really interesting. Omega, obviously not as aware about the wider galaxy, has plenty of questions as to what slavers are, and as Tech and Echo explain, it's someone who buys and sells people for credits. They're captives treated like property. It's an oddly specific way of explaining what slavers and slavery is, because funny enough, that is exactly how the Kaminoans treat their clones. Throughout the show so far, the Kaminoans refer to clones as Kaminoan property. So I think it'll be pretty soon that the Bad Batch themselves figure out that they and their brothers were the slaves of the Kaminoans. I got another video on that soon, so be sure to check it out. That's all for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and leave a like. As always, I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.